It must have felt like suddenly having the floor drop from under you, sending you into a bottomless pitfall. When I looked, I saw that the two witches and I had been thrown into a pitch-black universe. This space was cloaked in endless darkness in every direction. It felt like an infinite expanse filled with countless glittering objects. Whoa! Could this be the center of the universe? I mean, I do know somebody who visited the center of the universe. Although I cannot say that this place is as welcoming as I imagined. At least turn on some lights, damn it. Instead of a universe, some people might have likened it to the depths of an ocean where countless glittering fragments drifted.
Yona と言ったのに。重力の概念が欲しいなら自分で生み出しなさい。ほら、落ち着いて私たちを見て。ほら、私たちは平気そうにしてるでしょ。足元に大地があって重力に支配されていると信じなさい。そうすれば安定できるから。
She's right. The two witches were standing normally, as though their feet were planted on a transparent piece of glass. I was the only one who floating about like someone in a rapidly plummeting elevator. When I saw that they were just fine, I started calming down, figuring that there was no need to be scared. Then, just as Lambda Delta said, I gritted my teeth and kept telling myself that there was a place to stand here, and that I had to calm down.
お上
手お上手。あんたの名前は？
後宮バトラ。他の誰に見えるよ。
And I'm Noby Grant, part-time detective, full-time skeleton, and a lover of bunny girls 60% of the time, all the time.
オッケー。自分の意志、感情、姿や形を決して喪失してはダメよ。ここは海なんだからね。意味を喪失すれば永遠の深淵に落ちて海の藻くずよ。気をつけなさい。
I didn't get what Lambda Delta was saying, but I tried to calm down for the time being. I seemed to be great at gaining my balance the more I calmed down. Gradually, that weird floating feeling, like I was falling forever, began to disappear. It still felt strange, like struggling to stand upright at the bottom of a deep pool, but it was much better than before.
では始めるわ。碑文の謎を解くためのかけらを紡ぐ。
Erika still opened both of her hands. Then, like a planetarium, all the fragments throughout this empty space began to spin, leaving tails behind them. The expression planetarium might have been even more fitting than I thought. Multiple fragments were tied together by gold lines, and what looked like constellations zoomed by us rapidly, one after another. It felt almost as though we were dashing through space at an incredible speed. Dashing through the space in a one-cat Ben Castell. Then, with tails of light drifting behind them, several brightly glowing fragments swirled around Ben Castell. It looked almost as though like she had created her own solar system with her as the sun. That solar system surrounding Ben Castell grew to a radius large enough to swallow us up. And every once in a while, one of the satellite fragments zoomed right past me. Whoa. When those fragments passed right by me, it felt as though some kind of memory welled up inside me. I could feel it in my gut. These fragments were probably like crystals of memories.
記憶じゃないわ。世界のかけらよ。まあ、あんたには記憶のように感じられるだろうけどね。
Well, this certainly feels like a fancy way of traveling for roads and such. Traveling through time and all that jazz. It is certainly a lot fancier than the way I do, which is opening up a menu and then loading previous save points, like a video game.
では始めるわ。まずはこのかけらから。
One of the satellites in the solar system was slowly sucked in towards Ben Castell as its orbit around her decayed. He drew a spiral as it approached her and came to rest on the palm of her outstretched hand. Man. Again, thinking about when I started Umineko and such, if you were to ask me that we're gonna go through something like this at the beginning, I would not have believed you. Then it shone brightly, painting over the road with pure white.
"覚えてるぜ。これは第3のゲームでエヴァおばさんが碑文の謎を解く直前にしていた自分の中の魔女とやらとの考察だ。
そうよ。そしてこの考察から彼女は正解を紡ぎ出した。
So you're saying that she actually made it to the correct answer?
つまり正解へ至る重要なヒントを示すかけらということ。
I mean, okay. I have offered my thoughts before in regards to the Epitaph and such. I'm not gonna repeat them right here. So instead, I think I'm gonna listen to this and see if what Benka still thinks of is the same as I thought of when it comes to the first way of solving the Epitaph and such. Because I said in the last part that, okay, I've mostly solved the Epitaph, I believed. It's just that I think that there's a second way of solving the Epitaph that I still have to think of. Which, again, I would like to emphasize that I'm not saying that the first way of solving the Epitaph that I did is wrong. I still think that it could be right, unless I am proven wrong here. But there could be a different way of solving the Epitaph too, so that's what I'm curious about. So let's see what Ben Castell has to say about this.
つまりこの推理は間違っていないということなのよ。
つまり懐かしき故郷とやらば何かの比喩でも何でもなく、そのままじいさまが少年時代を過ごした故郷と読み取っていいということなのか。
Yeah. Like, it could happen. You can think of it as a metaphor for something, but I kept looking and found a location.
そういうこと。そして少なくともそれは小田原ではないわ。
It isn't Odawara.
生まれは確かに小田原だけど、お父様が懐かしむ故郷は多分小田原のことじゃないわ。それについては多分兄弟たちは全員同じ場所で認識してるわね。
そうね。多分小田原じゃないわね。 聞いた話ではとても楽しい少年時代だったそうよ。
そうだな。
Wait a minute. I just thought of something. Wasn't it that at some point this story mentioned how at some point it also rhymed? Hometown of old, it rhymes with gold? Cause I said before that this hometown of old was actually Taiwan. That's where I found the river and such. What if it were to take into account the war that Kinzo went to? And that war also took part on Taiwan as well. And since it is very likely that Kinzo met Beatrice during that war, because some of the stuff that has been said at the beginning of this episode and such, thus Kinzo managed to get the gold from that hometown, like beloved hometown of old, from Taiwan. Old rhymes with gold. Maybe there is a reason for that.
エヴァおばさんたち兄弟は小田原であることを否定していた。いや、それどころかみんなはじい様の故郷がどこか察しているようだった。
そう。そして意地悪なことに、それがどこなのかはどのかけらでも語っていない。
そりゃそうでしょう。それを教えてあげちゃったらヒントが過ぎちゃうよ。
Yeah. Well, when it comes to the first 4 games that we have been through, yeah, the location of the gold was never specified, if I'm to think of Taiwan. Here in episode, in episode 5, Taiwan has been mentioned when looking at Natsuhi and Krause's old, young days as a couple and such. Taiwan was dropped, if I'm to think of Taiwan as the location of the gold.
難易度の高い謎でなきゃ意味がないんだから。あらいけない。これもヒントになっちゃうわね。
一体じい様の故郷というのはどこだったんだ。それがわからなくちゃ始まらない。
始まらないから思考を停止したわけ？
Okay, you don't have to keep reminding Beller of that.
住み得た場所である以上、それは有限の範囲内だわ。まあ、ここが一番辛いところなんだけれど。
お前は確か解ける謎である限り絶対に解ける魔女だったな。つまりお前はその有限の範囲内、つまり地球上の全てがじい様の住んでそうな土地を全て想定して考えたのか。
そうしてもいいけれど、それじゃあ時間がいくらあっても足りないわ。だからさらにヒントを加味して答えを絞る必要があった。
自分で言ったじゃない。
You mean the Sweetfish River?
水の流れる川かどうかわからないって。あゆという言葉がそんなにもややこしいなら忘れてしまえば。川で考えるの。川で。家系図という連想は悪くないわ。その要領で川から連想するものを他にも考えてみて。
故郷を貫くアユの川。しかしその川は本当の意味での川ではない。
Yeah. Which led me to the conclusion that maybe we're talking about train tracks and such. That's how I thought. That's how I thought of it. So I managed to follow it and find the key that way.
エヴァは川から連想できる他のものを考えたわ。
そうだな。 しかし、川じゃないなら、鮎って何なんだ？
考えなさい。故郷を貫く川。でも水の流れる川じゃないわ。川のようにも例えられるもの。懐かしき故郷を貫く鮎の川。エヴァは故郷がどこか分かってたから鮎というヒントを切り捨てて考えたけど、故郷を知らない私たちにはヒントになりうるかもしれないわ。
鮎の川に悩みすぎたわ。鮎なんて大した意味ないじゃない。
そんなことないわよ。立派なヒントだったじゃない。まあ確かに鮎である必要はなかったかもね。
鮎って何なんだ？川が言葉通りの川でない以上、鮎だってもちろん泳ぐ魚を意味したりはしないはずだ。
そうね。その上ローザに至っては鮎に大した意味はないとまで言い捨ててるわ。
その一方でエヴァは鮎である必要はないが立派なヒントだったとも言っている。
Yeah. If I am to think of freshwater fish as such.
つまり鮎は何かを想起させる鍵だということ。その何かが他の単語であっても想起できるなら、エヴァの言う鮎である必要はないがという言葉につながってくる。
From these thoughts, Auntie Eva formed some theory. Went to the archive, looked through some kind of book, and verified that she was right. In short, Auntie Eva formed some theory about the true nature of the Sweetfish River running through his home world. Then, she opened a certain book to determine whether that theory was correct or not. In other words, this theory was something that could be verified through some kind of book. Maybe like a book of maps. And so, after she figured out what the Sweetfish River was, she figured out the rest of the riddle very quickly.
良い思考よ。碑文は川を下ればやがて里ありと続く。エヴァはその時点ではそこから始まる産業の謎を解けてはいなかった。
里って何？里ってどういう意味？この川を下ると里なんてあるの
？All those pieces that I haven't been able to understand all were right before my eyes, starting to snap into place all by themselves. I couldn't even remember to close my open mouth. And my throat grew completely dry. Is it really alright for this to be the answer? Really? Really?
つまり故郷を貫く鮎の川が分かれば自動的に川を下れば里あり云々が分かって黄金鏡の鍵が手に入るってわけだ。
そういうことよ。エヴァもその書物を読んで確かめるまでは川を下った里のことは分からなかったみたいだし。
Yeah. TLDR, it's not the village in the literal sense, but could be something else. Maybe like a symbol of sorts?
くそ、その書物って何なんだ？
でもこれは全然6文字じゃないわ。 これが答えに間違いないって断言できるけど、これは全然6文字に満たない。
また思考停止なら、それを6文字で読める方法を考えなさい。思いつかないなら調べなさい。きっと答えはある。それを疑ってはダメ。それが信じられないなら、とっとと泣き寝入りでもしてへそでもかんで死んじゃえば。
1、2、3、4、5、6。6文字。見つけた。
Yeah. I still believe that what Eva was trying to do over here is think of what she found there, which is village. But it didn't look like it had 6 characters. Well, that's because, in my eyes, she probably had to change the language. And I think it's English. Therefore, Killian, which would be my solution here.
これが黄金鏡への鍵。
そしてエヴァは黄金鏡への鍵を見つけたわ。
ああ、そしてその鍵というのは6文字の何か。言葉か数字か文字列なんだ。
そういうこと。鍵の正体が6つの文字だと分かれば、第一の番の意味がだいぶ分かってくる。
第一の番に鍵の選び師6人生贄に捧げよう。鍵の選び師6人。6文字。
In other words, it means on the first twilight, sacrifice the 6 characters chosen by the key.
この鍵がある特定の6人を指し示す。いえ、ある特定の6つを指し示すというべきね。もしこれが文字通りに生贄を捧げろという意味でないならば、例えばアナグラムかもしれないわ。
アナグラム？
Anagram!
文字遊びのことかな。
That's right. Killian-san theorized this already way back then.
第2の番に残されし者はとある。ということは、少なくともその何かは有限の文字数なのよ。そこから6文字を抜いて残った文字で話を進めろと読み解けるわ。
つまり第一の番に6文字以上の文字列から鍵である6文字を殺し、残った文字でどうにかしろという意味なんだ。
そういうこと。ただ当時の切り絵も言ってる。ならば何から6文字を殺せばいいのか。
Yeah. What should we kill the characters from? And that is not from the Epitaph, surprisingly.
その殺す大元の文字列がわからない。
On the first twilight, kill the 6 characters that are the key. On the first twilight.
つまり第一の番という時点でもう何かの文字列が存在するということなのか。しかし第一の番じゃ4文字しかない。他の読み方か。じいさま風に英語で読むなら第一の番ってなんだ？
we are getting somewhere here, Battler. That is a good way of thinking.
ファーストナイト。
グッと。バトラさんのその考え、なかなかです。鍵の選びし6人の生贄を6文字の文字列と読み解く。柔軟な発想だと思います。鍵が鍵の形状をしたものとは限りませんから。
アナグラムの可能性は私も考えてたの。
そういや、以前そんなことを言ってたな。しかし、だとしたら、何から6文字を抜くんだ？
そうね。6文字も抜く以上、それ以上の文字数だわ。第1の番を6文字以上にどう読み解けばいいのかしら。
お父様のセンスならやっぱり英語なのかしら。
行き詰まるようなら先に第2の番に進みヒントを探してみましょう。残されし者は寄り添う2人を引き裂け。残されし者は6文字を抜いた後に残った文字だと考えてよいでしょう。
Yeah.
となると、寄り添う2文字とはどういう意味になるんだろうね。
そうか。わかったぜ。つまりはこういうことだ。
For example, let's take the following list of 9 characters. And then let's say that the 6 characters offered as sacrifices are 1, 3, 6, 7, 8, and 9. We erase the aforementioned 6 characters from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and get x, 2x, 4, 5, x, 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 x. XX.
2と4と5が残るな。それでどうなるってんだ？
あ、4と5寄り添ってる。
そうか、わかったで。つまり寄り添いし2人っちゅうんは
x2x 4 5 x x x x x x x。
そうさ。2と4は間が空いているが、4と5は隣り合っている。寄り添いし2人だ。
グッと。お見事です、バトラさん。引き裂くという意味が4と5も潰せという意味なのか、4と5の間を開けと言っているのかは分かりかねますが、その着眼は良いと思います。
なら、第3の番の残されし者は誉れ高き我が名を称えよってのは何だと思う？
文字遊びである可能性が高い以上、それもまた言葉遊びの可能性があります。残された文字は誉れ高き我が名を称えよ。
Which can very well be referencing the name of Ushiromiya.
難しいね。どういう意味だろう。
どなたかわかる方は？私は多分わかっちゃいました。
Okay, well that's fantastic, Erika.
何教えなさいよ。
Quite good.
これもアナグラムか。
またしてもグッと。
Good.
バトラさんはなかなか発想が柔軟です。
アナグラムって文字遊びって意味だよね。ということは、
つまり残った文字を入れ替えると何かの単語ができるという意味じゃないかしら。
だな。とすると、ちょいと勇み足な仮説だが、俺は第一の番に間引く大元の文字数は11文字じゃないかと想定する。
またしてもお見事。私も同じ見解でした。
どうしてよ。どうして11文字なんて言えるんや。
I guess so. I guess Beller has actually reached that conclusion, eh? Huh. Very interesting. But wait. Are you saying that Battler is actually going to be able to solve the Epitaph? Like right here? Right now? Oh. Oh.
生贄を一人殺すというのは、文字を一文字潰すことを意味すると思われます。第二の番の引き下げを、とりあえず2文字の間を開けという意味で解釈した場合なら11文字。この引き下げが2文字を潰せという意味なら13文字になると想定されます。なぜなら、その後の第4の番から第8の番にかけて5回殺せという記述が出るからです。そしてその次の第9の番で誰も生き残れないと書かれています。
魔女が蘇るって部分をとりあえず無視するなら。
Oh. So that's how I was supposed to... I probably shouldn't say this in front of Erika.
これは第一の番に6文字潰し、寄り添った文字を割いて、さらに5文字潰したら。
Eliminating 5. Because kill has been mentioned 5 times. And then none shall be left alive. Yeah, that is logical. I guess that's how it is.
ぴったり文字がなくなるという意味ではないかと考えたんだ。
So that makes 6 plus 5 equals 11 characters. If tearing apart the two who are close on the second twilight means to kill both of them, that makes 6 plus 2 plus 5 equals 13 characters. There's a chance that the word symbolizing the first twilight has 11 or 13 characters.
実にお見事です。私とまさに同じ推理。バトラさんもどうやら私と同じ灰色の脳細胞に恵まれているようです
ね。よせやい。適当だぜ、適当。
You know, Shush! The adults are talking here.
おいおい、なんだよこれ。駒の俺は随分と頭が切れるじゃねえか。
Yeah, you know it. Like before, he had a little bit of trouble. Your battler piece over here, but now he is catching on. What is this all about, Ben Castell? Lambda?
おかげで俺の推理する出番がねえぜ。
ああ、ごめんなさい。バトラはこの時不在だったから、私の方で勝手に駒を操らせてもらったわ。
Well, this was a surprise.
切れ者っぽくていいでしょ?
Yeah, you sure have. Honestly, you know what I was expecting? I was honestly expecting Erika to do most of the theorizing. Well, while Battler, like game piece Battler would be all, what? Wait, what? Who? What the fuck are you talking about over here? But no. The way you made it look, Ben Castell, it made it look as if like Battler is reaching some high conclusions over here. And while Erika is reaching some conclusions by herself, it definitely feels like she's also mooching off of Battler as well. So, I don't know. I don't know what your plan is with this, Ben Castell.
あんたはベルにプレイヤーをしてもらった方が賢そうに見えるわ。プレイヤーは降りて駒に専念した方が良くない？
I joined in on this game on October 5th, after the first few murders. So up until that point, the piece called me was being controlled by Ben Castell, the player. Which makes it possible for Ben Castell to present her reasoning through my mouth. The game I'm watching now is nothing more than a replay of a part that's already ended. Hiram. That's probably good enough for now. This Ben Castell-sama has gone out of her way to solve the Epitaph for me. So, I'll watch closely for now. It is interesting. I mean, I did say before that one of the main goals of Beatrice was to have Beller solve the Epitaph. And technically, well, we have to make the distinction between the game piece Beller and the Beller that is here in the meta-narrative world. In the sense that, well, the Beller on the game board right now is being controlled by Ben Castell, so that probably doesn't count towards Beller himself solving the Epitaph. The game piece Beller may be able to solve the Epitaph right now, thanks to Ben Castell, making him clever and such, but that doesn't mean that our Beller has solved it yet for Beatrice, so I don't know. Like, I am, like, on first impression it makes me think, well darn, if Beller is gonna solve the Epitaph right now, and it is under the influence of Ben Castell, then that's bad. Not only bad, but it would mean that Beller solving the Epitaph, it doesn't mean jack shit either, but I'm not falling into that, at least yet. Because, once again, I'm thinking that there is a completely different way of solving the Epitaph, and Beller, most importantly, needs to figure out why the Epitaph is like the most important thing to Beatrice and such. Well, not the most important, there's the sin as well, but that the Epitaph is one of the important things that Beatrice wants out of this entire thing, so... yeah, I guess so. Let me just sit here and watch and see how this is gonna develop. And I'll try to find out what it means. I'll let it stay per se just a second ago.
そりゃそうでしょ。それを教えてあげちゃったらヒントが過ぎちゃうわ。難易度の高い謎でなきゃ意味がないんだから。あらいけない。これもヒントになっちゃうわね。
This theory about grandfather creating the epitaph in order to choose a successor isn't bad at all. Erika and Castell's logic is extremely reasonable. But that's only if we assume grandfather was the one to create it. Yeah, I'm thinking of that as well. Something tells me, okay, I don't think that I'm able to explain it logically here, but... And I think I have probably thought of this in the past as well, in the recent past that is, I humored the idea, but it can very well be that Kinzo didn't create the epitaph. I mean, if Beatrice decided to create Kinzo as part of this whole unreliable narration thing, and he was actually dead from the very start of each game and all that, then who's to say that the epitaph was also created by Kinzo? No. I think that Beatrice is the one who did it. And it probably happened recently too. Otherwise, it kinda makes you think, cause if Kinzo created the epitaph like years and years ago, I think I already talked about this, but if Kinzo created years and years ago, since the beginning of time, since when the mansion was created, then the siblings would have tried to solve the epitaph since they were babies and such, but no. All the discussions that we had in regards to solving the epitaph right over here, including the siblings that is, most importantly the siblings, it feels recent. Therefore, it makes me think that the epitaph itself was created recently. Maybe because of a result of Kinzo's death? Or maybe before? Who knows? And it can very well be that the epitaph was created around the sentences, like on the door to the chapel? Huh. So maybe the sentences on the chapel were not created as a result of the epitaph, but the other way around? In which case, maybe the sentences had a completely different meaning before, and the epitaph was created based on that, for a completely different reason. But I don't have any evidence for that, and I cannot say that I really believe that yet. All I'm saying is that I'm thinking that Beatrice did it. And if it's Beatrice who did it, then it must be one of the humans, whether it's Shannon or Kanon and such. So, about the one who inherits the gold and the gold and the headship after solving the epitaph and finding the gold, that surely does not fly with me. I may not be able to reasonably explain it logically. Erika is capable of explaining it reasonably, that Kinzo would give the gold and such, but I am not falling for that. He was probably alive at the time the epitaph was displayed. But of course, he's already dead by 1986. And in the games until now, Beatrice threatened us repeatedly with letters, saying that the only way to survive was to solve the epitaph, and trying to force us to solve the riddle. In other words, it was Beatrice's intention, her hope, that we would try solving the riddle of the epitaph. Exactly. The epitaph is so confusing that, in most cases, the relatives never seriously tried to solve it until the threatening letters started to arrive. That's why Beatrice fired the starting pistol, which made us take a go at it. Why is Beatrice carrying out grandfather's last wishes? Or is she even carrying grandfather's wishes to begin with? Like the theory proposed in the first game, is she really grandfather's covenant? Following his orders even after his death and trying to select the successor with the road to the Epitaph in his stead? That would mean that Beatrice really is grandfather's trusted underling, and exactly the family alchemist she called herself in that letter. After grandfather's death, Beatrice would have managed to 10 tons of gold and taken the title of alchemist. Without ever embezzling the gold, she entrusted it all to the Epitaph's riddle, and waited for a human fitting to be the successor to appear and solve it. And then that human didn't appear within a set time limit. And that meant game over? Certainly, when Auntie Eva solved the riddle in the third game, she became the only survivor and automatically the final head of the Fushiramiya family, inheriting everything. Up to this moment, no one has ever survived past October 5th, except Auntie Eva, the one who solved the epitaph. It is as I said before. If I am to go with the theory of a bomb being included in this entire thing, which at this point I truly believe in it. I have made like reasonably logical theories in regards to the bomb, with like bits and pieces of details strewn around in the past that can form that theory of a bomb being included in this. And I said before that if Eva was the only one who survived this, that she went to Kuadorian, that would mean that she knew about the bomb. She knew that a bomb would happen. So I don't know if I actually thought about this before, but what if the bomb isn't actually in the same room as the epitaph? I mean, it kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Like, for the bomb to be hidden by our culprit in the one place that is the hardest to reach. And only when you solve the epitaph, then the game will be over and nobody will die because of this. But that surely did not happen. Maybe it's because Eva intentionally left the bomb all alone. Even after she found the gold, she intentionally left the bomb alone to explode. But that would imply that she also knew about Kuadorian, which she probably did at some point. She probably found out through some means that I'm not sure of. But It can be possible that the bomb is right in, like, where the gold is. And that was the only case where Beatrice let one survive.